Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Educated. I am Katie Petrick, and I am joined by David Fiorazzo. David, how's it going today?
It's going well. Thank you, Katie. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Oh, I am doing well as well.
How are
Thank
you guys
you for
doing?
asking.
How are y'all doing out there?
How y'all immediately returns up. How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
All right. Well, I want to know how y'all doing on Worldview Matters today.
Oh, we had another show with Dr. Jake Jacobs. What was the great title of today's show? Academia's Propaganda War on the West. We talked about the college campuses and the poison and propaganda they're putting out and have been for decades. So that's with Dr. Jake Jacobs. You can subscribe. Every Friday you'll get an email in your inbox with the 4 episodes of Worldview Matters from the week. worldviewmatters.tv. Thanks, Katie.
All right. Well, just a quick reminder that you can catch Educated on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. Now, before we move on, David, I have to ask one question.
Yes.
Did Jake Jacobs bring a stack of books with him?
Always.
Oh,
I love that about
Tune
him.
into Worldview Matters.
And Israel flag and a couple other
He
props.
always comes with the props
He's
to
the
talk
prop
about
man.
the propaganda.
But he can back it up. Boy,
That's
he is
true.
a wealth of information.
That he is. All right. Well, we're going to talk today about a female field hockey player who was hospitalized after the one and only boy on the all-girls high school team smashed a ball into said actual girl's face during a game. And, of course, this was allowed to happen because of a Massachusetts scholastic rule. David.
Yeah.
Another one of these?
Yeah, we'll see more of these.
This one's a little twist, though. It isn't because the boy is a trans player. It's because the boy is a boy and they don't have a male field hockey team. But it's still allowed.
It's still, and I love Riley Gaines. She'll use any of these for examples on why it's not fair competition to have girls and boys in the same sport. But the headline, boys do not belong in girls' sports. That's one of the teammates of the hockey player that was hospitalized by the male opponent. And this is a Massachusetts high school. Now, Dighton, I can't even say that, the name, the team captain.
Dighton
Rehoboth.
Is that how you pronounce
That's
it?
it. You got it. Kelsey Bain wrote, she was really concerned, so she wrote a letter to the Interscholastic Athletic Association. The boys don't belong in girls' sports. It's amazing that the students have to do this. It's amazing that we're at that point where someone has to get injured. But we're going to watch this news package and this video. We'll come back and we will talk about it.
This is the shot from a male Swampscott field hockey player that sent a Dighton Rehoboth girl to the hospital. It happened last week during the first round of the MIAA Division III playoffs. The injured girl could be heard screaming in pain after the ball came off the boy's stick and hit her in the face. Kelsey Bain, one of Dighton Rehoboth's team captains, told the MIAA in a letter that allowing boys to play on girls' teams under the Equal Rights Amendment is putting the girls in danger. She wrote, "We all witness the substantial damage that a male has the ability to cause against a female during a game. How much longer does the MIAA plan to use girls as statistical data points before they realize that boys do not belong in girls' sports?" Dighton Rehoboth Superintendent Bill Rooney says this is a growing problem among girls' field hockey teams, where at many schools, a boy's only option is to play with the girls.
There are very few male field hockey teams at this point, and so if a male wants to play field hockey, then he plays on the girls' team.
In a statement, the MIAA says it stands by the Equal Rights Amendment. Quote, "We respect and understand the complexity and concerns that exist regarding student safety. However, student safety has not been a successful defense to excluding students of one gender from participating on teams of the opposite gender."
Yeah. So here's the deal. I went to a small school, and we didn't have the same options in terms of like boys teams, girls teams. If a girl decides to go to a boys team, the girl knows what may happen. Like if I decide I'm going to go play some tackle football, I, as a female, know what I'm walking into. But the girls are just out there playing, and then a boy comes in on their territory. It's not the same thing of like, oh, the boy's gonna be like, well, I might get hurt here with all the girls around. No, it's the guy may actually hurt the girls. And guess what? That's what happened in this case. And if we look at the story, just so you know, after that whole injury, the devastating injury to that girl who had to go have like mouth surgery because of that hit, when play resumed following the injury to the player, that same male, Swampscott player, quickly scored a goal. In fact, he scored both goals for Swampscott, giving his team a 2-0 victory in eliminating the Dighton Rehoboth from the tournament. Yay.
Wait a minute.
And don't worry. This may come as a shock to you, David, but not to the rest of us. It won't come as a shock to you either. That male player is reportedly a Northeastern Conference All-Star. He's also a 4-year varsity player and team co-captain. So,
wait a minute. Do I understand this correctly? That if you remove the male player, it's going to be a 0-0 tie, and they're going to have to do some whatever they do
might
in
have
overtime.
been a 0-0 game.
What do they do at field hockey?
Field hockey for a tie, I don't know if
for
it's the same
tiebreaker?
like shoot. If they'd have a same shootout, probably like lacrosse and all them do.
So you remove the boy, and it levels the playing field.
Whoa! That almost sounds like it's like equality or something.
Don't even get me going, Katie. You made a very good point. Girls,
Thank
if
you.
they want to go out and join a men's team, if the girls don't have, for example, ice hockey at their school, they know they're going to be taking the hits in ice hockey. But if you're having a male play on an all-girls team or an all-girls sports, they're not ready for that. They say, well, I guess if there's no boys team, we understand. But that's how these things happen.
Yeah, you want to talk about like fairness that you cannot allow men in girls or males in female sports.
Too
you
late.
can't. It's just
Too late. They are.
I know, but if we wanted to be a nation who actually cared about its people, equality, you would actually care about its people, equality, but we don't. So that's where we're at.
Well, you know what? I think we do, but I don't think enough of the right people are speaking up. Where are the feminists with the big platform?
Yeah, this should have been this is a huge feminist issue, and where are they? Oh no, it's that panic button of like trans rights, female rights. Which button do I choose? It's that meme, and they just don't know what to do, so they freeze up and do nothing.
Yeah, they don't want to go against I don't know what it is. The feminists don't want to go against the left and the talking points and the narrative, and so they're not speaking up. That's my point. They're not speaking up because you know what? They can't possibly all agree with this, with what's happening. But anyway, we've got to move on. The nation's largest Christian university is being fined $37 million by Joe Biden's Department of Education. And the university says it's in retaliation for their lawsuit against the government. We'll talk about that next.
If you've looked around in the past couple years, you may have noticed that the economy is not the best. It's quite bad. Despite what the media tries to spin and make it seem like.
That's right.
The economy is not doing great. So, of course, it makes sense that the Biden administration is trying to find some cash out there somewhere for the government. So, why not just find the largest Christian university in the country? Let's see how that works out for them. There are several federal agencies under the Biden administration who seem to be targeting Grand Canyon University in retaliation for the actual school, GCU's, lawsuit against the Department of Education. Now, back on October 31st, the Department of Education levied a fine of $37.7 million against GCU, accusing the university of, quote, substantial misrepresentations, unquote, about the cost to complete its doctoral programs. Let's take a look at what's actually going on.
We're not paying a dime. We will fight this, and we will fight this all the way.
Grand Canyon University President Brian Mueller was not happy with that massive fine. after a recent investigation done by the Department of Education reportedly revealed GCU was lying to students for money.
It's not logical. There's nothing logical about any of this.
Federal officials released a statement Tuesday, claiming they found more than 7,500 former and current students enrolled in GCU's doctoral program ended up paying $10,000 to $12,000 more than what they were advertised. It goes on to say GCU did this to attract students to enroll, but in the end, it harmed students, broke their trust, and led to unexpectedly high levels of student debt.
That could not be further from the truth.
Mueller denying all these allegations.
If we were interested in making more money at the expense of students, we would raise tuition.
Saying GCU goes beyond what is legally required. To this day, he said they have not received a single complaint from students about it.
Why aren't students complaining that they didn't know? Because we tell them all over the place.
He knew this was coming.
The inflammatory language that they use in that announcement tells you everything about the animosity that they have about this place.
Claiming the Christian university is at the center of a witch hunt by the DOE that has been going on for years, when GCU applied to be a nonprofit university, but were denied.
Once we filed the complaint, the harassment started.
The university now plans to appeal the decision, and Mueller said they will take it all the way to the Supreme Court if necessary.
Okay.
Glad they're fighting it. What were you
Yes.
going to say?
If if the Biden administration, the Department of Ed, is trying to be like, well, we're gonna sue you $37 million because you said for the doctoral program it's actually costing $10,000 to $12,000 dollars more than it actually like you advertised for, then every single university across this nation for bachelor's degrees would have to get a lawsuit against them, because how much do they say it costs, and then how much do they keep raising it, or how much money do you ultimately end up paying for said bachelor's degree at every university? For that does seem to be witch hunty to me. For it's a lie. They're actually paying $10,000 more. Oh, how much do universities charge, and then the kids end up actually paying and being like, we're changing the requirements, so now you actually have to stay an entire another year to get that bachelor's degree.
Right. It's not surprising.
That one fires me up.
Yeah, good.
Lies.
And it is happening across the country. No surprise that the Democrats are going after a Christian university in Arizona. Not surprising, not shocking. Nothing to see here. Move along. But it says in the article here, 2021. So 2 years ago, the university filed that lawsuit against that department and argued that the classification of GCU as a for-profit institution would tarnish GCU's reputation and enable unsubstantiated allegations while inviting scrutiny often reserved for profit institutions. Liberty University is also targeted, he said. Quote, the two largest Christian universities in the country are being investigated. And is that a quinky-dink?
He didn't say quinky dink. He said coincidence, but I like quinky dink better.
Yeah.
Mueller actually said, I don't know, but he knows.
Yeah, the two largest Christian universities. So,
shocker.
I don't know. Come on, Democrats. Level the playing field, which they won't do.
What? No, that would be equality.
Then they'd have to go after Harvard or,
Instead,
like University of Wisconsin-Madison or Berkeley.
Instead, they will hold that field hockey stick and
Columbia.
just chuck it at the face of those Christian universities. And if you're just tuning in for the second story, not the first, that won't make sense. But tune in for the first story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as war rages between Israel and Gaza, an Israeli comedy show goes after pro-Hamas universities with an epic video. It's SNL, what SNL should be. We will show it to you after the break.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
Okay, this one is a bit of an odd story. It's kind of out, I'd say it's out of left field, but we don't want to say anything with the left. There is an Israeli comedy show called Eretz Nehederet. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. But either way, it is kind of like an SNL, Saturday Night Live, or Mad TV, or I don't know, what's another comedy show from back in the day? Carol Burnett? I don't know. You know, it's what comedy should have been and should be, but is no longer. They just parodied the LGBTQH, and they say H is for Hamas. Students who are from Columbia University, because you remember with everything that happened with the Hamas attacks, Columbia University students, Harvard University, basically all the Ivy Leagues, a lot of college students came out and were like pro-Hamas, and they're like, oh, free the Palestinians and all this stuff. Let's just watch what the parody, remember this is parody, against what the Columbia kids were saying.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Do you know why it's true? Because it rhymes. Just look at all this toxic Zionist propaganda. Kidnapped in Gaza. Does this look like Gaza to you?
Yeah, but I have no idea what Gaza looks like.
And they're smiling. Do hostages smile? Zionist liars.
Totally sus.
Do they think we're stupid?
Stupid? I major in queer post-colonial astrology. Ew. Jews make the world dirty.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not anti-Semitic. I'm racist fluid.
Exactly. And now for a little break from all this activism, we want to say hello to our BFF,
Bestie freedom fighter.
Abu Fatwa in Gaza. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum as-salam, and inshallah, Allah will kill you all infidels.
Thank you so much for joining us. Love the headpiece, the all oppression chic. Very drip.
Mr. Fatwa, how are you? Are you safe?
Oh yes, I'm safe. I'm in a tunnel under the Gaza hospital. Above me, I have Allah and 2 million civilians protecting me.
Community is so important these days.
It goes on.
That's
and
great.
It goes on, and they're trying to be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. And then he's like, you will be the first to die. Like that, because these activists have no understanding of anything.
Exactly. You had me at LGBTQH. H for Hamas.
Yep.
H for Hamas. You had me. Katie, strange bedfellows we are seeing in these protests, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're seeing the Jew haters, as Dr. Jake Jacobs would say, not just anti-Semites, but the Jew haters. Yeah. We're seeing the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation, the Marxist-driven organization there, teaming up with the LGBTQH for Hamas. We're seeing very bizarre organizations coming together kind of on the same side, and you're going, well, how do these... Because separately, there's some issues with some of their ideologies.
It's because they're not smart enough to understand and actually think through anything. Yeah, they just put it all together, and...
This is what we're on the left. This is what we're supposed to do.
This is what we're supposed to do. We don't actually think.
This is what we're supposed to be against.
And here's the thing, like that whole scene, I wonder how much of it they actually literally pulled from direct quotes of these college students. Because this is how they talk, because they don't think through things. One of the parts where they didn't say, we didn't include, was the terrorist says, Mr. Fatwa says, I have everything. I am only hungry for rockets. And then that, I guess, male student replies with, as long as it's organic. Like, this is the depth level they think. Everything, climate change, organic. Here are the talking points I'm supposed to meet.
Yeah.
And I don't actually listen to what the people are truly saying and understand their meaning. I just reverb with my actual talking points.
So it's good that we can laugh at some of this, but the seriousness underlying this whole problem is a worldview issue that is hateful. It's against the Judeo-Christian worldview, not just against the Jews. Tony Garuli was on Worldview Matters with me a couple weeks ago, and he said they're coming for the Saturday worshipers, the Jews, and then they're coming after the Sunday worshipers, the Christians. And they're not going to stop at the Jews. That their hate goes for anyone who is not for Islam. And so this is it's just, there's so much naivete out there that's pretty interesting. These are the times we're in where people aren't doing the research. They haven't been taught everything. They just know the surface, the talking points, and what they're supposed to believe. Remember one of the days this week we did a show on the little kids in the classroom repeating what they were supposed to repeat, and you can tell their hearts weren't in it, and they didn't really understand, some of them, what they were saying, but yet they knew this is what their teachers wanted them to do. This is what whoever, Hollywood, Democrats, the left, that's what we're supposed to say, I guess. So this is the side we're supposed to be on, and so they can't really tell you or explain why or defend why they're fighting for this side. And that's what's really sad. They'd rather shut you down than think through, why am I supporting this thing?
And it's why a lot of them may also drink coffee only from the largest coffee chain in the world because everyone else is doing it. So I'm just going to agree with that.
One of those hip chains
one of those hip chains where they get bucks from stars. The largest coffee chain in the world, though, is saying that despite the lackluster economy, that why not just open 17,000 more locations in the next 7 years? Let's talk a little Java next.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the FreedomProject Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
So twice now, I have attempted to get a pumpkin spice latte
geez, here it comes.
at Starbucks, and they were out of pumpkin spice flavoring.
They saw you coming.
Fortunately, this last time they made up for it because they now have gingerbread, so I can get a gingerbread latte with an extra shot of espresso.
Oh,
now
fancy.
Starbucks presented the latest stage in its plan to drive growth for the company, which involves accelerating its global footprint and saving apparently $3 billion in costs over the next 3 years. Katie, I wonder how much they're going to spend to save $3 billion. Let's watch this. We'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Some ambitious plans brewing at Starbucks. The company outlined its vision for the next 5 years Wednesday, including opening 12,000 new stores, 5,000 of those in China. That number would boost the total locations of the chain by almost 50%. Driving those gains will also be an increased emphasis on food, with additional items including a gluten-free breakfast sandwich and soup. Those plans come after the company announced Starbucks founder and longtime CEO Howard Schultz is stepping down in April. Starbucks shares dipped after the news broke, but bumped up modestly after the expansion plans were shared.
Okay, let's just talk about this one. Starbucks, if you are going to open that many thousands more stores, and you're saying you're planning to cut costs, you're just going to raise the prices. Just brass tacks. You will continue to raise the prices, and your soup options are going to. I'm ready for that lawsuit because someone is going to sue you for saying they had a hot cup of soup, scalding, blah blah, and it's just that's a new revenue stream for someone who is likes to sue people or McDonald's or whatever other companies. So I don't like what you're doing, Starbucks. I've already been upset with you for many other reasons, but you keep raising the prices.
What are those reasons, Katie?
Oh, no. We don't have time.
Support of Planned Parenthood, support of the LGBTQ,
the political agenda,
the wokeness, and
then the prices,
DEI in general, and then $7.50 for a whatever.
More than that, if you
so let's say you're paying $10. Oh, then at airports they're even more expensive. But anyway, apparently the economy's fine to them. It's amazing how huge they've become.
And and what's fascinating is the fact that Howard Schultz keeps coming back. The guy keeps wanting to retire. He's chairman emeritus for Starbucks, okay? But then he left. But then he came back because they can't hack it. And then he left. And then he came back. And he wants to go away again, but he won't. It's like Disney. This is why we should be scared. Like, we pay attention, everyone. Yes, these major corporations, Disney, Starbucks, they're all doing things we don't agree with. And most of us here on this space, we don't agree with what they're doing with their politics. But also, they're old people who, like, were the reason we agreed with them initially. Like, obviously, Disney has passed many, many years ago.
Yep.
But the people that even are kind of okay, and we were kind of okay with what they were doing, Howard Schultz kind of okay with what he was doing, they can't let it go because the people who are upcoming can't handle it at all. They have no business sense because their woke agendas is all they have. So their business side is struggling. So they keep bringing these people back to try to like rejuvenate, but they're so infiltrated with all these wokesters that they're like rocking a hard place. So let's see what actually happens with Starbucks, David.
Well, their projected growth per year is between 15% to 20% over the next 3 years. Projected. And I'm thinking, all right, I guess they're not hurting. So it doesn't matter. I know a lot of you out there have boycotted Starbucks, Target, Home Depot, McDonald's, and some of these other corporations that are pro, all the things that you probably don't believe in. And most of them, it doesn't take Disney. Most of them, it doesn't even make a dent, unfortunately, because they're so massive at this point.
Yeah, so we'll see if that extra 10 cents per syrup or for another 10 cents on top of for your mocha, another 15 cents added to every espresso shot you add. That adds up real quick.
Do you want a straw? 50 cents.
Oh, we're not allowed to have straws. It's not climate friendly, David.
Right. Well, they do have.
It's not allowed.
Anyway.
And your pumpkin spice?
Gone.
Just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone.
That's
all
okay.
right.
That saved me a little bit of money, though.
There you go.
Because that happened twice, and I thought, all right, I'm done. I can go somewhere else.
And your morals.
Or I just make them at home.
Whoa. Novel idea. All right. Well, if you are a fan of our show, if you would, like, comment, share, subscribe on whatever social media platform you're on right now. And also, if you're a fan of the video platform known as Rumble, please follow our new Rumble channel at rumble.com/FreedomProject. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.